What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today we're just gonna have fun. Let's do it. Alright guys, hope you're doing great out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Kyle. What I do is I take all sorts of awesome high gain related guitar equipment, record it with a simple setup, and I give you the unprocessed audio on your end. But today, I'm kind of getting back to my roots of what it is that I love about playing guitar. Now, if you guys have been following the channel for a little while, you'll know in the past few weeks I've kind of made a couple of videos making it no secret that right now I just don't really care about gear. As most people who have an obsessive personality, much like I do, if you couldn't tell, but as most people like that tend to do, you kind of go in waves where like you're really into something. It's kind of just consuming you. You're on fire for it. It's all you think about and you just love every aspect of whatever that thing is. And then you kind of hit that peak and you start to come back down where the excitement is wearing off a little bit, your interest starts wandering, and then as you continue to go further down into that valley, say you found another interest that has kind of taken over your life or some other focus, then all this stuff over here on that good side of what just happened of the graph or whatever this is, tends to get forgotten and also kind of tends to get to a point where it's like, it almost becomes something that not you resent, but something that kind of makes you feel the opposite of joy when you think about it, because you're just so burnt out on it. You just gave it your all for a while and it's something that consumed you and it was a great time, but now it's kind of time to move on from that to something else. Now, you may not be like that. Hell, other obsessive people may not even be like that, but I know that that's how I am, and I am fairly self-aware in most aspects, and I'm able to recognize when that's happening, especially over the last couple of years, and I've really just kind of learned to not force something if I'm not feeling it, kind of take a step back, turn my focus elsewhere, because eventually that fire for guitar gear, which is my main passion, guitar gear, playing music, playing in, you know, local bands, whatever you want to call us, regional bands, I don't care, playing in the bands that I love playing in, that will eventually ignite again, and I'll be going through that whole process all over again. And I'm fine with that because the good parts of all of this stuff are just really good. They make me feel really fulfilled, whether it be like trying out new gear, whether it be talking to other people about gear, whether it be just kind of going through my collection and checking stuff out, kind of rediscovering things that I hadn't played in a while, or, you know, as of lately, it's been playing with my bands. I just played drums in my band Represent for our 20th anniversary show recently. My band is 20 years old. Like, what the hell is my life right now? But anyways, like, I've kind of had a fire for drums overall. Like, I've been playing a lot more drums lately, and not so much like diving into the gear, but just playing a lot, and just really have been enjoying the hell out of it, like way more than I ever have. But anyways, as I do typically, I'm veering way off topic. What I'm trying to say is, I haven't really indulged in some of the aspects of, you know, gear collecting, gear hunting, gear hoarding, whatever you want to call it. Some of the aspects that I really love about it, and quite a long time, because the YouTube channel has just taken over so much of my life. And sometimes, like, you know, when I get burnt out on doing the YouTube stuff every now and then, that kind of burns me out on guitar in general, because it's what I do day to day. And I honestly don't set aside a lot of time for myself to just play guitar and enjoy it. Like, I'm kind of focused on other aspects, just trying to, you know, keep this thing going and build the channel and build my personal life and focus on not turning into an unhealthy mess like I have been in the past. So yeah, that's kind of where I've been sharing that a little bit with you guys here recently. But today, this morning, I kind of just said, hey, I'm gonna take a day where I just do what I want. Like, I just kind of let myself do whatever feels, you know, like it would be fun and relaxing and enjoyable. I don't give myself many days like that. Most days it's just work myself to death. But for some reason, this morning, I got a wild hair up my ass, which, by the way, that saying is like the absolute peak of human intelligence. Like, that is just, whoever came up with that, I don't even know what it means, but I love it. But anyways, I got the desire to kind of just go through some of my gear and mess around with some stuff, because I have not done that in a long time. I have not just sat down and kind of like tone chased. That's what I used to do, man. Like before this YouTube channel, I would just compare guitars, compare pickups, compare speakers, compare amps, and that was majority of what I did when I was playing guitar, and I haven't done that in a really long time. And there are some pieces of gear that I've gotten in the past, 6 months that I haven't even touched. Like I have not even looked at, they've been buried. Like I got them, I was excited about it, and then it got put away in the stash. And that is, I understand, especially as I'm saying it, that is the most first world of first world problems that you could ever imagine, and I'm fully aware of that. But I decided to take some time, just kind of mess around with some amplifiers, tones, guitars, stuff that I haven't really done in a while. Dude, like I'm having a great time. Like I've been having so much fun, just kind of rediscovering some of my amplifiers and kind of checking out new things that I hadn't really stuck too much time into. So I figured, why not just kind of bring you guys along for the ride? Now I'm already halfway through what I was doing, but I have a little setup here that I kind of think will work, and this is just kind of like a casual, chill, watch me nerd out, watch me dial in a couple of amplifiers type video. There is nothing to be learned here, there is nothing to be gained. This is purely just for fun and for entertainment. So if you feel like being entertained and you just want to watch a tone nerd kind of geek out and find a tone for his band show on Saturday, you're in the right place. So without further ado, let's jump into that. All right, guys, so as you can see, I've got a couple of cameras set up. You can see my setup here. I have my KHE amp switcher out here to help me out. But yeah, you can see I've got 3 cabs, I've got 3 heads, I've got the boost board hiding back in the corner with some of my favorite overdrives on it. I've also got a few of my favorite guitars off to the side over here. As far as the cabinets, we've got my Emperor cab loaded with some old vintage 30s out of a Mesa 4x12. We've got my old tried and true Mesa rectifier oversized cab. This is not the one that I use in all my videos. That's a traditional cab, which is sitting over there in the corner on timeout because I think I need to go in and tighten a screw or something because it's giving me some weird flex and just sounds like doo-doo butt mud on the palm mutes. This is my old reliable cab. Like this is the first nice cab I ever bought. I've owned this cab for 13 years now. And then over here off to the side, we've got the Omega custom 4x12 that I ordered loaded with DV77s. Let's move on to the amps. For the amps, on the bottom, I've got the Mesa Roadster, which I bought from the homie Joe Balaguer. On top of that, we have the Soldano SLO 100. This is the one that Boutique Amp Distribution sent out to me, so thanks a million to them. And then above that, I kind of was like, what's an amp that I never play? Because I play these often enough. And the Rhodes, aka KSR Orthos Mark I, immediately came to mind because I never play this amp. It's just because it's usually in my stack of amps in the background of my videos, and I don't feel like digging it out because it is probably one of the heaviest amplifiers that I own. As of right now, I've kind of put all of the EQ controls back to noon. On the Roadster, we're on channel 4, which is the red channel, and I'm just gonna experiment with some tones, so here we go. All right, guys, so we're gonna start with the Mesa Roadster, and we are gonna go directly through the Mesa cab. Also, man, that's loud. Also, using my Heritage to start, but I'll cycle through some guitars. I think once I find an amp cab combination that's really speaking to me, the guitar will be the last piece of the puzzle. Everything's at noon. I'm gonna dial this sucker in real quick. Also, I forgot to mention, we're recording all this with a single room mic, which is why these cabs are kind of angled in a little bit. It's not scientific, but this is not for you guys to hear the differences in this sound. This is not what this video is for. Just figured I'd use it to kind of pick up all of the audio in general. Plus, you guys are always yelling at me to do room tones, which I think are worthless, but if you find value in them, then here you go. All right, so right off the bat, we need some presence. And because I'm so loud standing right in front of these at the moment, we're gonna have some weird noise and feedback. But all I had to do was turn the presence up on channel 4 in the vintage mode, and I'm already super happy with that. very full, very broad in the mids, big on the low end, but still has punch. It's not like overly saggy like rectifiers can be. I should also mention the MXR M77 Overdrive is what we're using at the moment. But yeah, I'm not mad at how that sounds. Let's move up to the Soldano. All right, so I would like more low end. I would like more depth. All right, now we got some balls. On the SLO 100, typically you need a good amount of presence to kind of take the blanket off the speakers. It's good. Yeah, I don't really feel much of a need to touch the other controls at the moment. Maybe just a tad more mid and a tad more bass in the preamp. Yeah, that's good. All right, finally, let's go up to the Rhodes. Let's kind of dial that in real quick. All right, so again, we need presence. And we also need a little bit more low end punch, a little more bass, a little more bottom. That sounds awesome. I want a little bit more mid out of that. All right, that's good. Let's go back to the Soldano. It's actually kind of crazy how close those two sound to each other. There's not a whole ton of difference there. Maybe a little bit more mids in the Rhodes. I do think there's a little bit of a volume discrepancy, so that... It's literally like there's just an ever so slight mid shift. Like maybe they're focused slightly lower on the Soldano and slightly higher on the Rhodes, but wow, I did not realize. I knew that this was like SLO inspired. I didn't realize how close they were. Let's go back to the rectifier. The Mesa is the most broad. It's the least like focused in the mid section. Let's add a little bit more gain to the rectifier. Now we've got some good saturation going. That darkened it up a little bit though. Let's add a little mid, a little treble. Yeah, dude, that thing's just like a wall of sound. That sounds massive. Back to the SLO. It's crazy how much louder the Mesa seems just because the mids are so full and forward. There's not a ton of difference between all three of them though, for real. Like I did not expect it to be that close. I'm gonna back up so I'm not feeding back like crazy, and I'm gonna play the same riff on all three. And then we will really kind of see how they compare without all the noise. We're still on the Mesa cab. I'm gonna start with the Roadster. So these pickups are really noisy, so I apologize. In a small contained room like this, it doesn't work out that well. Over to the Soldano. All right, the Soldano definitely has a good bit more presence to it at the moment. We're gonna actually dial that back a little bit, and let's go up to the Rhodes. All right, so the Rhodes seems like it has the most like polished tone to it. It's the cleanest. There's the least like extra noise, I guess, going on. It almost sounds like a studio recorded SLO. The low end's a little cleaner. It's a little punchier. Not quite as big as the SLO or the Mesa, but we could always push it forward a little bit more. I'm really liking the sound of all three of them, if I'm being totally honest. The Mesa kind of has a crunchy quality to it on the palm mutes and stuff. It's not super punchy per se. It sounds like there's almost a little bit of like power tube breakup going on. So now let's try it through the Emperor. Woo! All right, that sounds excellent. Over to the Soldano. All right, so they sound quite a bit more different through this cabinet. Let's go down to the Roadster. Man, this Emperor cab sounds awesome. I like the way the Mesa sounds through the Emperor because the Emperor is letting through a little bit more high end, and it's kind of adding to the aggression of the Mesa, not making it sound quite as like congested as it did on the Mesa cab. Finally, the Rhodes, I'm gonna turn the treble back, or the top end back just a little bit. Man, I think the KSR through the Emperor cab is the front runner right now. That sounds mean as hell. That sounds awesome. Last, let's try the Omega cab. All right, so the perceived volume is gonna be a good bit lower on this cab because it's not nearly as mid-forward with those DV77s in it. So I'm actually gonna bump the mids up quite a bit. And I also want to add a little bit of treble. All right, so still a little bit of a hollow quality. That's what I found with the DV77s and pretty much every Eminence speaker. They have this like hollowness to them that I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of. That's pretty nasty. Don't hate it. Finally, the Roadster. All right, so it's crazy, these amps, how much the amps react differently to different cabs. Like the Mesa cab made them all sound very similar, but through the Emperor and definitely the Omega, they're all kind of showing different qualities. None of them sound bad, but I will say for my particular taste and for human animal, I don't know which camera to talk to. Hello. I think that the Omega, I'm gonna rule the Omega out for right now. I'm really heavily leaning towards the Emperor and the Rhodes. I thought that that sounded just brutal. But let's get a guitar that's not gonna be so damn noisy. These pickups being unpotted is just, I've got noise problems in my basement, so this is just enhancing that. All right, so we're gonna try my Gibson R8 1958 reissue with the Vineham Rampage in it. Yes, Vineham Rampage, which is like a, hot PAF pickup. All right, that sounds insane. Let's try the Mesa cab. Mesa cab definitely has better projection with the slant. Back to the yes! I like guitar. Turning up and cranking a tube amp through a 4x12 will forever be my favorite thing in the world. Good Lord, this is fun. Back to the rectifier. Let's get a little more gain on that guy. Rectifier is the quietest, I'll definitely say that. It sounds good, it really does, but there's a little bit of almost like a crunchy quality to it that compared to the other two amps, I'm just kind of digging those more. They just sound a little bit more guttural, a little bit more low mid focused, a little meaner. This is fun, I like it. I've no complaints about the M77 Overdrive either. I think that thing sounds great. Let's try one more guitar, my Les Paul Custom. And also, now that I'm looking, I really should have thrown the Rev Generator 120 Mark III in the mix. I don't know why I didn't, but I should have. Stock 498T in this thing. Oh, but God, the 498T is such an awesome pickup for hard rock and hardcore. I love this thing. Back to the SLO. Okay, I like that, but it's a little bit too harsh in the upper frequencies. Same with that. This guitar is definitely brighter in the top end. Let's pull that presence back a tad. Back to the Rhodes, one more time, let's get it dialed in. The Mesa through this cab is sounding really good. It's kind of like, do I want the rawness of the Mesa, or do I want just the brutality of the Rhodes? It sounds a little meaner, even with being a little bit more polished. It's just something in the low mids. Back to the Mesa one last time. What a hard decision, holy shit. What do I do, guys? Send help. Send help ASAP. I don't know what to do. This is like legitimately a really tough decision for a show that will probably be attended by 50 people. It's stupid. we're going with the Rhodes. The Rhodes wins, everybody. We're going with the We're going with the Rhodes into the Emperor with the Gibson Les Paul Custom, the absolute most overpowered rig you could ever imagine for a local hardcore and pop punk show. Last but not least, I'm gonna try a couple different overdrives real quick. Deadwell Duality, green channel. All right, game over, for real. That's it. Like the mids, there was a little bit of a quacky kind of modern mid going on in the Rhodes that I wasn't digging. Turning on the Deadwell Duality immediately smoothed that out. It immediately gave me a slightly more like vintagey, familiar tone, and I was immediately in love. I'm just gonna call it right there. Rhodes, Gibson Les Paul Custom, Emperor 412 with old Mesa Vintage 30s in it, and the Deadwell Duality DX Overdrive. Go figure. We got crazy with the cab and with the amp, but we went with Old Faithfuls on the guitar and on the overdrive. So we kind of split it 50-50, but yeah, my back hurts and now I have to put all this stuff back. So I'm gonna go ahead and go do that. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and found maybe some level of entertainment out of it. It was a lot of fun for me. Hopefully it was fun for you. If it was, hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe if you don't want to miss any more stupid content like this. And if you want to help the channel, Sweetwater affiliate link, Zounds affiliate link, all that stuff is going to be down in the description of this video, and clicking on that stuff goes way further than you guys probably realize. It is a massive help to this channel, and I really, really appreciate it. It's going to do it for me, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time. You know what this wall is missing? Another amp. There we go.